EUR USD Weekly Forecast Corrective Decline wonâ T grant further dollar gains analysis http ntvforex.com News ID 1131C187 2023 25:29 p.m. USD stronger ahead of the weekly close, although the movement seems corrective. Tensions between the US and China and the coronavirus situation to keep the greenback pressured. EUR USD is intrinsically bullish as long as above a critical Fibonacci support level at 1.1636. The EUR USD pair is finishing the week little changed below 1.1800, after advancing in the previous 6 weeks. Investors kept dumping the greenback these days, resulting in the pair surpassing the previous yearly high by a few pips to reach January 1915, a level that was last seen in May 2018. The dollarâ's weakness was exacerbated this week by the lack of progress in a new U.S. coronavirus aid package. Republicans and Democrats at Congress are still far apart on some very significant issues according to comments from Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin on Thursday, and after the previous stimulus package ended in July. Stimulus, tensions, and coronavirus. Meanwhile, the pandemic continues to take its toll. The U.S. has surpassed the 5 million cases, while the death toll is above 162k. The latest projection shows that this last could hit 300k by December. Things are only modestly better in Europe, that seems to be on the brink of a second wave. Just this week, the number of daily local cases soared above 1,000 in Germany, France, and Spain. The increase in contagions came alongside economic reopenings. New lockdowns so far have been focused, but each one of those points for a further delay in economic recovery. Market players remained concerned about the future of the world's largest economies, trading on coronavirus-related headlines rather than on macro releases, which report on the past instead of anticipating the future. Political turmoil was also a major factor these days, and in fact, the main reason the dollar strengthened ahead of the weekly close. Late Friday, news agencies reported that the U.S. administration is considering expanding its action against China, potentially sanctioning Hong Kong leader Carrie Lam. Earlier in the week, U.S. President Trump issued an order banning TikTok and WeChat from operating in the U.S. in 45 days, if they are not sold by parent Chinese companies. Economic growth kept slowing. Data released these days showed that the situation is worse in the U.S. than in the EU, at least for now. The final versions of market manufacturing PMIs were upwardly revised in the Union and downgraded in the U.S. The official U.S. ISM manufacturing PMI came in at 44.3, still indicating contraction in the sector. NBSP services output is also stronger in the old continent than in America, according to Market, although the official U.S. ISM market manufacturing PMI jumped to 58.1. An upbeat U.S. monthly employment report fell short of saving the greenback. According to the non-farm payroll report, the country added 1.76 million positions in July, while the unemployment rate shrank to 10.2%. The underemployment rate improved from 18% to 16.5%, while the labor force participation rate increased to 61.4%. Anyway, most U.S. data released these days, included employment one, suggest that the economy continued slowing in July. During the upcoming days, Germany and the U.S. will publish July inflation figures, although the macroeconomic calendar will remain quite light until Friday. In the last trading day of the week, the EU will publish a revision of Q2 GDP, while the U.S. will unveil July retail sales and the preliminary August Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index. EUR USD technical outlook. Despite holding on to gains, the EUR USD pair is losing its bullish momentum. The weekly chart shows that the pair is holding above the 23.6% retracement of its July-August rally at 1.1740, the immediate support. In the mentioned time frame, the pair is far above all of its moving averages, with the 20 SMA advancing but still below the larger ones. Technical indicators, in the meantime, are barely retreating from overbought territory. The next Fibonacci support comes at 1.1636, the level that should give up for the dollar to turn bullish. In the daily chart, the ongoing decline could also be considered corrective. A sharply bullish 20 SMA converges with the 38.2% retracement of the latest rally at 1.1636 while developing over 500 pips above the larger ones. Technical indicators, in the meantime, retreat from overbought readings, but remain well above their midlines. NBSP resistances, from the current level, come at 1.1830 in January 1915, with a break above this last exposing the January 2000 threshold. EUR USD sentiment poll. The NTV Forex forecast poll NBSP shows that investors expect dollarâ's weakness to continue in the short term, as the sentiment towards the pair is bullish in the weekly view, seen on average at 1.1848. A steep corrective decline is expected afterwards, as the bears become a majority in the monthly and quarterly views, with the pair seen at 1.17 and 1.16 respectively. In the overview chart, however, moving averages suggest that the bullish trend is still strong. The weekly and quarterly medias head north, while the monthly one is just flat. In general, the risk remains skewed to the upside as possible targets below the 1.1600 are quite scarce in all the time frame under study. NBSP related forecasts. NBSP Bitcoin Weekly Forecast. BTC hit the pause button before a decisive breakthrough. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors.